I don't believe it, said Victor Meldrew. You'll remember the character. I don't believe it. It's a world in which a lot of people are saying that about religion and Christian faith. And I kind of sympathise. I don't believe it either. I'm an atheist. An atheist is somebody who believes there is no God, which of course is a belief, isn't it? But to believe there is no God is actually more fashionable now. And we've had a generation now of militant secular atheism, which is not just trying to disprove God, but is trying to pour scorn and ridicule, and is quite hostile to those who do believe there is a God. It's a strange one about what we define on. Is God the same thing? Are we all talking about the same thing? And quite often when I hear what these secular atheists have been saying, I want to say, well, I don't believe that either. Take marriage, for example. I believe in marriage. Clear, simple statement. Well, but if I believe in marriage, I might be referring to a love choice, a love relationship, a lifelong companionship between a man and a woman for the bearing usually of children and the upbringing of a family and a stable long-term relationship. Somebody else might use marriage to talk about a relationship between two people of the same sex, two men, two women. Somebody might use it to talk about a setup where you have one man with a dozen wives. Some cultures and religions, that's the norm. And in some places, it's a woman with several husbands. Less common, but it is marriage. So to say I believe in marriage is meaningless unless you say what kind of marriage you believe in. So to say you believe in God or that you don't believe in God is pretty meaningless until we say what kind of God are you talking about. Well, the traditional Christian formulations have painted God in sometimes a fairly unflattering light. We might not see that, but a lot of the stories in the Bible depict an angry God as well as a loving God. Some of the earlier Old Testament stories are quite human, quite anthropomorphic. God gets angry, God gets jealous, and it's quite a strange, simplistic description. But Christian formulations have also thought of God as being just and requiring punishment for his subjects, his creation. We've gone wrong, we're all sinners, and we're going to pay for it, and the only way to pay for it is blood. So blood has to be spilt, and Jesus provides the solution. That's a pretty primitive view of God, but it's one that's common and has been carried by Christian theologians for centuries. Or you might go for the big O's, not Roy Orbison, great voice, great songs, but omnipresence, omnipotence, and omniscience, omniscience, knowledge. So we've got power, presence, and knowledge, PPK. If God is all of these things, then it's a pretty tall order to understand. I'm reminded of the book that was a bestseller in my teens and 20s called Your God is Too Small. And we're intoxicated by the idea that our ideas can get bigger of what God is and can do. But we've got children's songs that illustrate that kind of theology. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. I guess that would make him omnipotent. God is always near me, hearing what I say. I guess that makes him omniscient, knowledge, all-knowing. And so there's a theology there which is deeply ingrained in all of us. But how practical is it? Does God understand every thought, every deed, all our motives? Does he see every action and in every intention committed by every human being and billions of people around the globe? That's a pretty big concept, and I'm not sure how helpful it is. We've got different views, and so we need to refine our statement. I might be regarded as an atheist in a Hindu society, or in a Muslim society, or in some African tribal societies, because I don't believe a God who's in this particular statue, or in this particular mountain, or is expressed in these myths, like the mythology of Mount Olympus for the ancient Greeks. No, I'm an atheist to them. And indeed Christians were atheists to the Romans because they were arrested because they wouldn't sacrifice to Caesar, and they wouldn't say Caesar is Lord, meaning the emperor is God, because they said no, only Jesus is Lord. So they were regarded as atheists. So it's quite a long tradition for Christians to be regarded by some as atheists. But you can't be an atheist if you believe God is in compassion and is in nature and is in our conscience and is in justice, that God is somehow imbued in all around us, and we are part and parcel of this wonderful creation that is all God, in which God is found, in which every human spirit rests. So in that sense, maybe I'm not an atheist after all.